Good morning, Eagles. So we're firmly entrenched in the winter holiday season. So we wanted to take some time to address with you how we can keep our classrooms a safe and inclusive space for all of our students during this time of year. We've spent a lot of time looking at the 7 principles of culturally responsive teaching. As we think about how we handle winter holidays, it's important to consider these principles. I'm specifically thinking of the first principle, which states students are affirmed in their cultural connections. I'm also thinking about the second principle, which states teachers are personally inviting, and of course the third principle, which states learning environments are physically and culturally inviting. So because we're high school teachers, winter holidays don't look quite the same in our world as they do in elementary school. Most of us, at least curricularly speaking, are wrapping up our content and pushing towards those final culminating experiences that we'll be having before break. However, I think this is a great opportunity for us to examine our own cultural biases and how they show up in our classrooms, even if we're not specifically including Christmas in our curriculum. So the reason why I'm specifically talking about Christmas here is because this is the dominant winter holiday in the United States. In fact, according to a 2017 Pew Research poll, 90% of Americans celebrate Christmas in some form, even though as of 2019, only 65% of American adults identify as having Christian beliefs. However, while only 65% of American adults identify as religiously Christian, many more are still culturally Christian because of the way Christian culture permeates our society. So what's the impact this has on our classrooms and on our students? Because so many of us are culturally Christian, Christmas creeps into our classrooms in subtle ways. Sometimes it's red and green decorations, Christmas lights, reindeer on the walls, and asking students about their plans for Christmas break. All of these are really well-intentioned. I mean, you're making your classroom warm and inviting. You're showing interest in your students and their lives outside of school. These are both hallmarks of really good teaching. We're just urging you to consider a slight shift in your practices, though, to decenter Christmas. Ask about winter break plans, for example, and don't assume that all of your students will be celebrating Christmas. It's also always just a good idea to know about other holidays your students might be celebrating, and not just in December. We've taken a huge step forward by including Yom Kippur in our school's calendar, but we're still in session for many other major religious holidays outside of the Christian ones. Maybe we need to ask, are all students seeing their culture and their religion represented in our school? Another thing to consider as you talk with your students is the way a Christmas-centered focus also impacts our students whose families might celebrate Christmas but can't afford gifts or a tree. If you're aware of students whose families could use some assistance with these things, please contact your department chair. We have resources. Christmas can also be really stressful for students with complicated family situations. We have a lot of kids in our district in foster care, kids from divorced families, kids living with people who are abusing drugs or alcohol, or kids who are experiencing emotional or physical abuse at home. When you talk about winter break plans or what they want to get for Christmas, this can get really tricky for kids. So we just encourage you to keep this in mind as you navigate those conversations with your students. We're hoping this gives you some food for thought. As we examine our own biases and backgrounds, it allows us to be more culturally competent educators. If you want to discuss this further, drop by C235A for some conversation or ideas on how to make your classroom more equitable. Until next time, Eagles, we'll see you in the tea room.